So, Jeff, let's move from Republican politics to the president's budget. What's your first take on it?
Well, I wish we'd actually have a real budget that takes into account the problems we have with entitlement programs and discretionary spending. We were headed toward a fiscal cliff long before Barack Obama took the wheel. Well, let's get that straight. We didn't govern well as Republicans when we controlled both chambers in the White House. The difficulty we have as Republicans is to convince people we'll be better than they are and that we'll be better than we were.
Can you argue that it might be difficult to do that with Mitt Romney?
No. Like I said, you look at Massachusetts, look at what he did there, balanced budgets and everything else, and you see conservative governance there. And when you compare that to the president, and you compare that to a president who has said, you know, after the next 4 years, we will have halved the deficit. Look at it now. We're projecting $1.3 trillion again.
For the fourth year in a row, Richard Haas came on earlier and said something that you would usually expect from a fiery Republican stump speech. And he said the United States next year is going to be in the position that Greece is in this year.
That's right.
Is that your concern?
Yes, it is. And just this week, they're trying to wrap up the payroll tax cut thing. We shouldn't be having a payroll tax cut. We shouldn't have done it a year ago. If we don't have the courage to reform the entitlement programs, we shouldn't be messing with the revenue stream. And that's what we've done as Republicans and Democrats. And I expected this year for it to be Grover Norquist who would say, oh, you had a tax cut last year. You got to renew it or it'll be a tax increase. It was actually the president who said that. And so, I mean, it's all Republican or Democrat. We aren't serious enough about this deficit and debt. And we are going to be in a position where we're going to have a treasury auction at some point and have no takers for our debt.
Just before we go to a break, one quick question. Should we revive Simpson-Bowles? Put it back on the table, both sides gather around that and say this is the place to begin?
We should. We should. Now, the problem with Simpson-Bowles, it really didn't address the main driver of our debt, which is Medicare spending. But on the revenue side, it had some very good, on the tax side, and lower the overall rate, broaden the base. That's Republican orthodoxy. We ought to get back to it. So, yes.
All right, Congressman Jeff Flake, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you here.
It's the morning.